once traditionally strong allies, Russia and Armenia are seeing relations hit their lowest point since the fall of the Soviet Union. Sharing centuries-long cultural and religious links, Russia has often stepped in as Armenia's main political and military backer in the South Caucasus. But that decades-old partnership is starting to see strains. Last week, in a rare public rebuke, Russia blamed Armenia for the breakdown in peace talks with Azerbaijan over the Karabakh region. The two rivals have been deadlocked for months in trying to broker a peace deal over the occupied territory, which saw a 6-week war back in 2020. Russia blamed Armenia for cancelling peace talks between the two sides and called on Yerevan to return to the negotiating table. The statement followed earlier remarks by Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan last month when he said Russian peacekeepers were not fulfilling their obligations under the 2020 ceasefire. Armenia also recently announced it would not host Russia-led military exercises this year. And now to discuss the ongoing dispute between Armenia and Russia, joining me now from Baku is Farid Shafiev. He is the chairman of the Center of Analysis of International Relations. And from Washington, D.C., Hamdi Rifai. He is a government relations advocate. Gentlemen, welcome to Straight Talk, and it's good to have you on the program. So, Hamdi, why have tensions risen between longtime allies, Russia and Armenia? I mean, what is the reason behind this widening rift between the two countries?
Well, as you know, as I'm sure your viewers know, Armenia has decided to cut off any discussions or negotiations where Russia was mediating between Azerbaijan and Armenia. Armenia has decided that it will continue to pursue this policy of separatism, despite the fact that Karabakh is Azerbaijan.
So we know tensions have also been escalating between Azerbaijan and Armenia, as you said, in the Karabakh region. What's happening there? What's the situation there, and how tense it is now?
On the ground, we have Russian peacekeepers who are continuing there despite the fact that it is now over 2 years since the ceasefire agreement and since Azerbaijan took its territory, Karabakh, from Armenia. So what we have is a situation where Azerbaijanis are upset because the ethnic Armenians residing in Khan-Kendi, Stepankart, continue to use that region to build up weapons depots, continue to illegally mine Azerbaijan's natural resources, and prevent Azerbaijanis who are from Khan-Kendi, also known as Stepankart, they call it Stepankart, from returning to their homes.
So far, why has Russia ignored Armenian Prime Minister's call to secure free transit along the corridor linking Armenia to Karabakh?
Yeah, just would like to remind that Armenia and Russia indeed were military allies and economic allies. But coming very briefly to the first question, Armenia and Russia, in terms of bilateral relations, doesn't have any meaningful problem. The problem emanates, as Hamdi already said, from the Armenian irredentist project, territorial claims to Azerbaijan. And here, because of international law and also because of just generally the environment, Russia is not able to pursue Armenians' claims at this moment, because during the first Karabakh war, Russia was helping Armenia. But now, taking into account the role of Turkey, Turkish-Azerbaijani alliance, and also Russian-Ukrainian war, Russia is not able to extend the direct or, let's say, military help. So that's the role between Armenia and Russia.
So, but with Russia distracted, as you said, by the Ukraine conflict, Farid, is Iran filling Armenia's power vacuum?
Yes, I think what is Armenia now trying to achieve to find some other partners in the European Union, especially some individual countries like France, to replace Russia in the South Caucasus. But I don't think it's really is going to work because the European Union has no leverage. What the European Union can do and tried to do last year, it's the mediation between Armenia and Azerbaijan. But unfortunately, Armenia basically abandoned two tracks. One track was in Moscow. The last meeting was scheduled in December. They decided not to go. And also in terms of the EU track, the last year Azerbaijan and Armenia held several meetings in Brussels. But Armenia insisted to turn this trilateral format into four countries format to include France, which Azerbaijan did not agree because France is viewed in Azerbaijan as a biased negotiator, as a country which supports Armenia.
So, Hamdi, where does you think Iran stand amid tensions between Moscow and Yerevan?
Between Moscow and Yerevan, they still have good relations. There's no question that Russia is Yerevan's primary ally, along with Iran. However, I think it's important to note, and I want to add to what Farid was saying, because Armenia does this continually where it will reach out and try to utilize any international player. So, for example, it's a member of the CTSO. It will use the CTSO when it wants to. It will reject the CTSO when it wants to. On some days, it'll say the OSCE is no longer relevant. On other days, it reaches out to the OSCE. On some days, it reaches out to America, France, Russia. Whoever will listen to Armenia, they will speak to, regardless whether they've rejected them in the past, because Armenia's legal position has no weight to it. So Armenia has got to understand that its relations with Azerbaijan depends on resolution of having defined borders and Azerbaijan holding its territory. Now, unless that happens, Russia will continue to play this role of a peacekeeper, not peacekeeper, in the middle, because Russia is Armenia's ally, and Russia does have a role there on the border. Now, having said that, 2 years is a long time for Russia to be there as a peacekeeper, and we've even seen from members of parliament in Armenia that they don't necessarily even believe that Armenia should be part of this negotiation with Azerbaijan over the Lashin corridor, because at the end of the day, Azerbaijan has already won its territory, and even the president of Armenia acknowledges that this land is Azerbaijan's. Okay. So Moscow is rather confused by this. One day Armenia says this, one day Armenia says that.
So, Farid, how have tensions, on the other hand, between Iran and Azerbaijan been impacting Armenia's position? I mean, what are the shared interests of Armenia and Iran in their respective disputes with Azerbaijan?
There are some fundamental issues coming from 90s when Azerbaijan got independence between Iran and Azerbaijan. Iranian nationalists, they still view Azerbaijan as a part of their Persian heritage, Persian empire. And when the first Karabakh war began, Armenia launched a war against Azerbaijan, Iran indirectly supporting Armenia. So over these years, though, Azerbaijan worked to improve relationship with Iran, but the outcome of the Second Karabakh War sent the shock to Iran. It didn't expect that Azerbaijan would be able to regain its territories. So that's I think the fundamental problem, and Iran is trying to help Armenia against Azerbaijan. So this is very, I would say, meticulously designed geopolitical game, and Iran is doing that not only in the South Caucasus, but in other parts of the Middle East. So,
Hamid, would you agree with Farid? I mean, what's at stake for Iran in supporting Armenia, and how much of a threat does the possible opening of the Zangezur corridor pose to Iran's economy and its influence in the region?
Iran relies on Armenia in order to break its sanctions, in order to break U.S. sanctions. So Armenia is an essential partner to Iran, and we saw that Iran understands that that relationship is very important and has provided weapons in the past to Armenia. It uses Armenia to trade and traffic in drugs and other means of raising funds for Iran. So there's no question that Iran's economy, and Armenia's influence over Iran is rather great. Their bilateral relations are between Iran and Armenia, and again, also between Armenia and Russia, make Azerbaijan in a very dangerous neighborhood. And it's because of this trilateral agreement of, I guess, in a practical sense, between Armenia, Iran, and Russia, that Azerbaijan remains at threat at all times.
Okay.
Iran has demonstrated this in Syria and elsewhere, that it wants to be a regional player and, I guess, be the axis of resistance.
So, Farid, on the other hand, how have normalization efforts between Turkey and Armenia been going, and how significant is the start of the direct air cargo trade between the two countries effective as of January the 1st? What do you think?
Turkey just announced that it's going to have the 5th round of the talks with Armenia. Now, in the post-war situation, Azerbaijan, in principle, supports Turkish-Armenian normalization. We hope that we will also pursue the track of peace with Armenia. But Azerbaijan is insisting, and the Turkey agreed, that these two tracks, Turkish-Armenian normalization process and Azerbaijani-Armenian peace process, should go in parallel. So we in Azerbaijan view as a positive the step, like you mentioned, the opening cargo, and generally I think it will reach the peace agreement. That is the design and the idea to have a wider regional economic cooperation. But, you know, unfortunately, as I said, we have a bit of problem now with the peace process. And if Armenia still has, in different forms, in direct form, territorial claims towards Azerbaijan, I don't think the durable peace and economic cooperation is possible.
So, Hamdi, how would the region look like if Turkey and Armenia fully restored ties? Who is most likely to benefit from this?
Well, Armenia currently is isolated. It only has Russia and Iran. If it was to open up the Zangezur corridor and continue to build its bilateral relations with Turkey and hopefully with Azerbaijan as well, Farid pointed out it's very important that they do their relations with Turkey and Azerbaijan concurrently, then I think that they have a lot to gain here. Armenia will stop being isolated. It will have opportunity both economically and for growth of its own citizens. Right now, its citizens are deprived. They sit there alone. When these trade routes are opened, then Armenia can be integrated into the region and everybody can benefit.
All right, gentlemen. Unfortunately, we'll have to leave it here. Thank you very much for joining me on Straight Talk.